own thing. So with all my industry connections, I start calling people saying, "Hey, you want to do an interview? Want to do an interview?"
Yeah,
Worked out. Well, we here now.
that's what's up, brother. That's a wonderful story, man. Um, with the books now, was it always something that you wanted to do as far as penning your own like you said, the first book was mostly about you penning your own story. Was that something that you always had in mind to do, or was it that with the with everything that's going on, it kind of pushed you to go ahead and put that out?
Yeah, I guess start. I mean, from what my mother told me, start off as a kid. I was one of them kids who got straight A's in English. I like
Okay,
writing. Now,
okay,
me talking to you right now, it may not seem like I have my grammar, but when it comes to writing, I get my grammar going.
uh-huh,
So I start off doing that, and I've always had imagination. I had imaginary friends. I would talk to myself and all type of weird type of stuff as a kid. So I guess
uh-huh,
writing stories was natural for me.
right,
So when I got older, I was like, I can make any fantasy book I want, but the
yep,
first couple books, I want you to know who I am and how I did it. So I guess you could say it was always in me to write books, and it's gonna continue to write books. Like that is the most. Even without me being an artist and writing music, I would have writer's block, but I can go and write a book in 3 or 4 days easy if I just blank out everything else.
uh, uh. I think you being an artist in the beginning probably may have, what I'm saying, has something to do with that also. The ability to just put everything down in story form and what I mean, be and then you say you was good in English as when you went to school and whatnot. I think all of that attributed to that. That's awesome, brother.
I agree. I agree.
Awesome
Even
story,
even
man.
even now to this day, like I mean, I'm thinking actually about writing a book about me being an artist
Yeah.
and the struggles because what I preach to a lot of people I interview is one thing that OGs never taught us was how to get it.
Yes.
So you always hear from the OGs, you
Yes.
gotta work, you gotta work, you gotta work. Me, I'm taking a new leap in the world, and I'm trying to do well. If you call me, if you hit me on Instagram, hit me on email, and say, "Hey, how did you got what you got?" I'm not gonna tell you you gotta work. I'm gonna sit there and go, "Hey, first you need to get your name copyrighted. And after you get your name copyrighted, you need to go to this place and then go to." I'm gonna give you the step by step because we weren't taught that. So I think I'm gonna write a book on that.
That's gravy right there, man. And I think
You
that
know what? I
What you
think
say?
for sure. I think for sure that is something that is necessary due to the fact that, with the way everything is so fast paced right now, a lot of the artists out there are, just putting out music. They don't understand how they got to protect themselves. And, you know, we used to hear stories about a lot of artists in the past signing messed up contracts, not owning their masters. The labels are getting paid and they're not getting anything. And all these platforms allow them to put up their music and put it out there and it can be stolen. But there's certain things that they can do to protect themselves. And I think that is very much needed.
And I think
I
that
agree.
and
I
me
agree.
and
I
me and
agree.
P was talking about this weeks ago. I mean, it's kind of a subject that we touch on a lot as far as the connection between the OGs and the youth coming into the game right now. We kind of are responsible as the OGs for what's going on in hip hop right now because we never took the time to give the younger generation the game. Like you said, we only told them to go after the bag. We never told them how to get to the bag. You know what I'm saying? I think if we took more of a leadership role in coming up, that the younger generation right now, that the incoming generation would be a lot more prosperous and a lot more closer to what we want to, call, I guess, traditional hip hop. Did we lose the brother? He's frozen right there. Did we lose him, P? Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. Thought we lost you for a second.
No, I totally agree because I mean, one of my favorite rappers from, from as long as I can remember was Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And me listening to Hove, like I don't care what people may personally think about Hove, he gives us a game.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
He
yeah.
and so I always took that business model of I'm gonna help you guys. You know what I mean? Like, and I think I learned that from Jay. You know what I mean? Even someone like the late great Nip. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Nipsey
RIP.
always try to figure out how to give us the game, and all I can do now is pay it forward because, like I
Yeah.
said, for the most part I have a whole lot to accomplish, but I think I've done everything I want to do.
Yeah.
Anything I said I was going to do, I did. So now I look, like I said, I don't have the biggest podcast in the world, but if I see a 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kid who wants to do a podcast, I'm gonna show them where to go get that podcast copyright, where to go get your BMI, where to go get your ASCAP,
No
how
doubt.
you profit and make money off of this.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the biggest goal is to get paid. I mean, yeah, we doing it for the love of the game, but but the love of the game ain't gonna keep the lights on. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I think the youth more respect the OGs when they come to them with information and they share knowledge with them, as opposed to just saying do it yourself. And you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna watch you.
I've even gone as far as with other podcasts, even with my former podcast. You know, what I mean, I still shout them out. I still give them, if they can, one of them could call me today and be like, "Hey, how did you get that interview?"
Right.
I'm gonna go give you that manager's contact so you can go get that same interview.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
And that's what's up.
Get that number, Pete.
Yeah, but you know what? I want to ask you a question. You know, do you feel that it's necessary? And I think what a lot of the old school guys and like Recognize was saying, you know, is yo, just put in that work, do it yourself. Do you think that is truly necessary to say I went through this, so this is what you need to go through to make it? Or I kind of get from what you were saying how you would answer the question, but I really want to see how you put it into words.
Okay, so the question you asked me is, I can be specific with my answer. What do you ask me?
I'm asking you, do you believe that it's necessary for an individual like the old school hip hop artists or like the mentors and stuff like that to give you very minimal information because that's what they were given? Or do you truly believe in each one teach one and giving you the tools to succeed?
I believe in paying it forward because I wasn't taught. Like I had to figure this out. Like one of the perfect examples I tell people when I was rapping back in the day, this was about 2009, 2010. I was in a group. We were probably, you know what I mean, around that time. We weren't big, but we were big in LA. We had a video we dropped that had maybe 60, 70,000 views. At that time, it was for local people, independent, having 70,000 views on YouTube was big. We didn't know how to monetize that money. We didn't know how to do it. And all these OGs were saying, "Oh, that's good. That's dope. You got that." But they was out there winning.
Right.
You know, like I said, I mean, I would never throw any of these OGs under the bus, but just understand a lot of people, you know, a lot of bigger artists didn't give us no love.
Yeah.
So for me, I said, you know, next time I get on, the next time I get my second win, I'm gonna look out for people. So that's been me. And some people could say, well, you're giving out too much free game, but it's like a crab in a bucket mentality. Why am I gonna be the only one to win and let everybody else lose when I can pull you out like me?
What's the sense of having knowledge if you don't share it? You know what I mean? Knowledge is not to be hoarded, man. It's supposed to be distributed and, you know, shared amongst your peoples. So yeah, I agree.
And I truly believe that when you do share it, right? And not that you should do it because there will be blessings in return, but it's a good deed, you know, gets a good deed or even a good reward. You never know what that individual has that they can share with you to level you up the same way you level them up.
That's a fact.
No, that's facts. That's fact. I got a question for you guys.
Go ahead.
How did you guys get to where you guys are now?
Oh shit! You want to tell him? You want to tell him? I'll tell him. P Money is pretty much responsible for us getting this whole thing started. You know what I mean? He went and you know the idea blossomed with him. He went and got the spot. You know what I mean? The actual facility where we was doing our show from every week. You know what I mean? And then we moved to a bigger spot. Got that shit popping. You know what I mean? And we just gradually grew week by week by week, and the numbers went up and up and up. And then the whole fucking COVID shit hit, threw a monkey wrench and everything. But you know, so we was kind of separated for a little while. But he was, you know, when we started doing the Zoom thing, when everybody started doing the Zoom thing, you know, P Money hit me up and he was like, "Yo, man, we need to, you know, get back together and get this shit popping again because, you know, everybody else is on pause right now." So we just, you know, we started doing it again, and here we are.
Yeah, and what we did, the whole reason why, you know, the show started, the station started, and things of that nature it was attempting to fill the void that we've seen in the industry. So it was, you know, there was a lot of, I think, especially with mainstream radio and stuff like that, right? You got pay to play. So there were a lot of artists out there that were great, even doper than a lot of mainstream artists.
Yes, sir.
And I would come across and I'm like, they're not being put on.
Mm-hmm.
We need to create something that they can be put on. We can help them promote. We can help them, you know, create content, because one thing some artists do, not all, but they don't They don't even understand that we're in a content rich environment in an era that they need to project themselves and be relevant. And in order to be relevant, they need multiple pieces of content.
Yes,
May
sir.
it be interviews, videos, just posts and things of that nature. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna do what I can on my end to provide that to the best of my ability.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope, man. I really like, you know, what I mean, the whole. I mean, what I want to say, what I will say about this quarantine, I really kind of appreciate it because all these celebrities sit at home and they
Yep.
have no choice but to
Yep.
do interviews now.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
It definitely allowed a lot of things to open up for the independent internet radio stations and stuff like that because as the mainstream stations, they're doing what the independents are doing. Like right now, the quarantine, the pandemic actually leveled the playing field.
Playing
Like
field. Yes.
you want.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
hit the reset button. It's like, no, you're no longer where you thought you was. Now
Mhm.
we're all equal. Boom. And those that chose to actually do something about the reset are the ones when we start to come out of this reset are going to be in a different place and maybe be ahead of those that were towering over them before the situation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's real. That's real. Like I like. I sit there and I had a conversation. My people says Yo Yo. I don't know if you guys familiar with Yo Yo.
Oh
Of
yeah. Yeah.
course.
That's my aunt. That's my aunt. So we're
Oh,
here.
shout out to Yo Yo.
We're sitting there talking, and one thing she said she loved about this is, yeah, we one person may live in Beverly Hills, or one person may live in Manhattan, but
Mhm.
with the independent worker like us, we on the same level now.
That's right.
We all got to stay in the house. You got to hope you get your check, like I got to hope I get my check now.
Yes, sir.
So you know what I mean, so that's why I'm inspired by such. First of all, shout out to Fat Joe. I like the Fat Joe show on
Yeah,
Instagram.
Jopra.
That's one of the things that actually inspired me to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah. And I see a lot of the celebs and I see a lot of the, major industry people. They're all doing podcasts right now. And like you say, the playing field has been leveled. So now everybody's got to get on the same sheet of music. You feel me? And it's a beautiful thing, man, because it makes it more I don't want to say I want to say mainstream. That's not the word I'm looking for. It makes it more acceptable for everybody to go on each other's platforms. You feel what I'm saying? Whereas before you had to be somebody to be on a Breakfast Club, or you had to be somebody to be on a Big Boys Neighborhood, or you had to be somebody to be on a or no, I'm sorry, know somebody to be on a Fat Joe show or whatever. Now it's like, yo, the celebrities need all the exposure they can get. You feel me? So they willing to do these shows that maybe they haven't heard of or maybe weren't as popular as say a Breakfast Club or something like that. So it's a wonderful thing in that aspect, man. And
You
it
don't know
makes
how many times I emailed a celebrity thinking that they wouldn't even respond to me,
right.
and like, oh, I got you. Set a date, set a time, let's do it. And I'm like, oh wow,
Like,
okay.
oh wow, yeah, wonderful thing, man. Wonderful thing, man. Wonderful thing. Yes, sir. And we
And
and we
that is just so crazy though. Like to even, just a few months ago, it was like, no, I'm not even going to try. And now it's
I might get them.
right. And we actually have been the pandemic has shown that we are all human. Like all these individuals, as they're doing what they're doing right now, they're showing that I'm no different from you. Look, I'm doing what you're doing, and it makes it great.
Yes,
But
sir.
Mr. Young, I want to ask you this
Yes, sir.
particular question, right? When it comes to your motivational speaking around the West Coast and things like that, what is it that you feel in the topics that you speak about is necessary to say during those times that you are out there motivating individuals to keep them going?
Good question.
My biggest thing I like to preach is depression. Depression is a big thing, not just in the African American community and Latino community, but across the world.
Mhm.
So when I speak, goes back to my books. Like I actually wrote my first book, even though it was a motivational book about my life. It was about me being depressed, from my mom and dad divorcing to, there's a whole bunch of different things going on in my life. I even have my favorite chapter at it's a bonus chapter. It's 13 chapters, which I put 13 chapters. I'll tell you about the reason later, but I have 13 chapters in my book, but it had a bonus chapter, and it was a 14 chapter. It doesn't say 14 chapter. It's a bonus chapter. It's called "Suicide is Real," and I know a few people who commit suicide and from depression.
Wow.
So you know, what I mean, anytime I speak to anybody who's willing to listen, my whole motivation behind it, my whole message is about depression, and we can get through it. I fought depression.
Yeah.
I legitimately fought depression. Like when my father died, took me to a wrong spot. I was doing a lot of things I shouldn't have been doing. So now that I'm on a better note, I beat depression. I go around preaching, we can fight this. If you need to talk to me, I know they got hotlines, but you can always hit me on Instagram and say, hey, I'm going through a situation. Maybe my words can help you, maybe they can't. But if I can touch one soul, I've done my job, and that's what I like to preach.
That's a great thing, man. And sometimes, people will be going through issues, and sometimes they just need somebody to get it out to. You know what I mean? Just to get it off of their chest to express it. Sometimes that's all they need. And if you're that ear, it can be a phenomenal help to somebody who's going through a situation like that.
Real quick, I want to shout out to Inspired Designs. This is a clothing line. I want to give a shout out. You know what I mean?
Give them the website.
It's on Instagram. Follow them on Instagram. Inspired Designs. DM
Right.
we got a lot of everything. Masks, onesies for kids. Anything you can dream of, they got.
That's what's up. Okay. Shouts out to them. When's the next book coming?
So here's the issue, right? I have this thing. I have ADD. I think I have ADD because I'm doing 1,000 different things. Like I said, I'm doing a podcast now. Every day I wake up and say I'm gonna write this book.
Right.
Legitimately, if I sat down, I could probably take a week to write it perfectly. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna say what's the September? This is August, maybe September. I have some September.
So before the end of the year.
It's all about me sitting down and focusing. It's the focus. Yeah. I have the idea in my head. I know the story in my head. It's about putting it on paper now.
Gotcha. 10-4.
But I'll make sure to get you guys copies as soon as before you even hit the stores. I'll make sure to ship you guys some copies.
Please do.
Oh yeah, that's wonderful.
We'll definitely pump that on the show. You already know.
So
we actually we had his on the platform before, right? We on a different show.
Yeah, she got interviewed on one of the shows here, and actually with your aunt's WCW that she does on Wednesday.
West Coast Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Right. We would actually the winners from the actual show, we would interview them.
Yeah.
After they did that, so there is a collaboration with Yo-Yo, and shout out to MJ that takes care of her peoples.
Yeah, man. We all intertwined, man, in one way or another. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, somebody knows somebody that knows somebody.
That's dope. And one thing I can't say, especially now that MJ is my publicist now, like a lot of these artists that I interview or I get interviewed by, we end up becoming friends. We shooting each other texts, what's up, man? What's going on your side of your side of the world? We end up just staying close and work in some kind of way.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's definitely wonderful. And we just need to understand that it's important to network, and when you come at it with an open mind and pure thoughts, things will actually go in the direction that they need to go. With malicious intent, things will go left. Like it's just
positive energy, man. The same energy you put out to the universe, the same energy you're gonna get back.
Yeah, and
I believe that.
And that's just what it is. So, with your books, with the next book that you got coming out once you focus, and your music, are there any inspirations in hip hop throughout the years that got you through a lot of your situations?
Besides Jay-Z, I just tell people my personal 5 favorite. It's